From the previous video, we saw how the survivors of the Great Flood during Prophet Noah's time lived and how life began again after total destruction. The 80 believers were now as a seed for all of humanity to come. This story is long as we aspire to walk through the timeline of humanity from Adam alayhi salam to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, bringing you the untold tales and forgotten stories. I wish for my viewers to walk with us patiently as we discover together the mystics of Islamic history from the lenses of authentic sources, Qur'an and Hadith only. We vow not to use speculations or give disclaimers to stories that are classified as unauthentic. Let's continue. So, after the children of Noah alayhi salam had dispersed, some to modern Europe, to Africa and Asia as narrated, civilization began again, and so was the creeping of corruption again. What comes immediately after the migration and settlement is the establishment of early cities. Humanity had spread across fertile plains, river valleys, and coastal regions. But there was a core region believed by some early Mufassirun like Wahab ibn Munabi and Qab al-Akhbar, where the heart of civilization formed, the lands between Yemen and Oman. Here, the descendants of Nuh's son, Sam, Shem, became known for their tall stature, robust strength, and mastery over wind-powered constructions, the early people of Ad. Ad were among the early people to organize themselves into large civilizations. They were believed to be strong, tall, and big like giants. They called their capital Irem-Elimad, Irem of the Pillars, a city unlike anything before or after it. Its columns plated with gold, its gates of bronze, and streets lined with exotic trees imported from far-off lands. Their leader, Ad ibn Aus ibn Irem, gathered tribes into one banner, creating the first superpower state. They built their own paradise, and soon arrogance blinded them. The story of Ad is popular, and most of us have heard about it, how they were destroyed by a cold wind. The Qur'an calls it Rih Sarsar, a screaming wind by Allah, completely after a strong warning from their brethren prophet who was called Hud alayhi salam. This time it was not a total destruction, but only them. So those who were left, mainly weak tribes who had flew from the tyranny of Ad, and the believers who were with Prophet Hud alayhi salam, were now to continue the seed of humanity. But remember, there were other civilizations in other parts of the world like Africa and Asia, where the other children of Noah had settled. The remnants of Ad migrated from the windswept plains of El-Akaf, modern southern Arabia, northwards, eventually settling in fertile valleys and rocky lands. In this period, several tribal offshoots formed. Some maintained the worship of Allah alone, preserving Hud's teachings, but others slowly began recreating the images of their ancestors, not yet as gods, but as symbols of honor and heritage. This was the seed of the next great corruption. From them, generations later, came the people of Samud, another nation that is mentioned in the Qur'an a lot, and its story is also widely known. The people of Samud, who were descendants of Ad, they were like a hybrid now. Unlike Ad, who built tent cities, Samud carved their homes into towering cliffs and mountains, not just for shelter, but as a statement of power. Some reports mention they built grand water systems, reservoirs, and cliff-carved palaces that would last for centuries. The Samud had perfect weather for farming. Rain would come in just the right seasons, and they cultivated grapes, olives, and wheat in abundance. Their skill in stonework was unmatched. They would hollow mountains like they were carving wood. Tunnels, windows, multi-story chambers inside solid rock. But their prosperity made them arrogant. They became known for their parties, public displays of wealth, and competition in building eternal homes inside stone, believing these homes would make them immortal. Idolatry crept in as remnants of Ad's idols were adopted along with new ones. Some historians mention names like Juls, Jahar, and El-Hubul among their deities. Some reports suggest Samud were not just architects, but also astronomers. Their mountain structures aligned with star movements, possibly for their pagan rituals. It was also around this time where early tribes allegedly formed alliances against the worship of Allah alone, possibly the first organized shirk revival, or what we may call Illuminat. Just maybe. Allah knows best. Some reports claim remnants of Iblis's followers taught them the ancient pre-flood idolatry rituals in hidden valleys. A covert network of chieftains and sorcerers passing down pre-flood occult knowledge. It was due to their extreme shirk that Allah sent the Prophet Saleh alayhi salam. He was from the royal family and the people of Samud, but they rejected him. With him came the miracle of the she-camel of Allah, whom they killed and were punished again, like their forefathers. Afterwards came the time which I would call it the void century, a gap in history of humanity between Prophet Saleh alayhi salam to the coming of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Until next time, insha'Allah.